This is our third lesson on solving trig equations. What we're doing today is we're extending what we've done so far to look at trig equations which include negative values. Okay, so we've looked at the basic trig equations, finding your first answer. We've then looked at extending that to find a second answer, and we're looking at today, well, what do we do if an answer we get is a negative instead? Okay, now it's fairly straightforward in that that negative answer you get, answer 1 you keep, you find your answer 2 as normal like we did in the last lesson, and then all we're needing to do is take our answer 1 and to turn that into its positive equivalent, we're going to add 360. Okay, so just to show you what I mean, let's have a look at a couple of examples. So example 1, what we're going to do is solve 6 sine x plus 3 equals 0. Okay, now if we solve this through like we've been doing before, we're going to take 3 from both sides, so that gives us 6 sine x equals negative 3, divide by 6 both sides gives us sine x equals negative a half, or negative 0.5, either would be fine. Okay, if you then plug that into your calculator, what you're going to get is x equals negative 30 degrees. Okay, now that could be fine. However, what you will often see as part of your question is this little caveat at the side. What this means is that whatever values for x we have, they need to be between 0 and 360. 0 has to be less than or equal to x, which has to be less than or equal to 360. Okay, so what that means is that for this one, this negative 30 is no use. Okay, it's below this 0, it's out with this series of values that we're allowed. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're still going to call this answer 1. Okay, and we're going to use that to find answer 2 as we did before, and then we're going to say, well, we're just going to turn that into its positive equivalent. Okay, so to find answer 2, we're still going to do our sine, so 180 minus answer. Okay, and this is where that answer key in your calculator is going to come in handy, because that's then going to take care of that negative 30 for you to give you 210 degrees as your answer 2. Okay, once we've done that, we're now going to go back to this and turn it into its positive equivalent. Okay, so to turn answer 1 positive, all we're going to do is take our negative 30 and we're going to add 360 to give us 330 degrees altogether. And so our final answer here would be x equals 210 degrees and 330 degrees. So these are the two values for this that lie between 0 and 360. Okay, the fact it's a negative throws things off a little bit, so we just need to do this last step here. Okay, so you can see it's not hugely different to what we did yesterday with that finding answer 2. You're in fact doing the exact same thing as yesterday. There's just this extra step at the end. Okay, so we're not worrying about turning this positive first. You find your answer 1. If it's negative, leave it alone until after you found answer 2, and then look to change it. Okay, so I'm going to show you just one more, just to show you a slightly different way in which these can sometimes be worded. Okay, so we've got example 2. Find the first 2 positive solutions. For 3 tan x plus 1 equals negative 2. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to take this 3 tan x plus 1 equals negative 2, take 1 from both sides, that gives us 3 tan x equals negative 3, which means that tan x equals negative 1. Okay, if you then again put this into your calculator, shift tan and then negative 1, we're going to get x equals negative 45 degrees. Okay, and again, That might be totally acceptable as an answer, if not for the fact that we are asked specifically for the first two positive solutions. Because it specifies positive, we now need to change this, okay? So what we're going to do is think to ourselves, well, again, this is answer 1 that we've got so far. So for answer 2, because we're dealing with tan, we're going to do 180 plus answer. Okay, so in this case, x equals 180 plus negative 45. Again, the answer key on your calculator is going to help you out here. Okay, so 180 plus negative 45 gives us 135 degrees. Lovely. And then again, all we've got to do here is say, well, that's all well and good. So to turn answer 1 to be a positive, just plus VE is just a shorthand way of writing positive. We're going to take our negative 45 and we're going to add 360 to give us 315 degrees. Okay, so final answer, x equals 135 degrees and 315 degrees. Simple as that, folks. Okay, so just remember, answer 1, find it as normal. Answer 2, same as we did in the last lesson. Okay, and then after you found your answer 2, then you can go back to answer 1 and change it to its positive equivalent. Okay, just as long as you make sure you're doing things in that order, you're going to be absolutely fine.